good afternoon. Sunday again, 4 o'clock. Here we go. If I'm not anything, I am consistent. So here we go. I'm sat here being consistent. And I think I just got an email, so you'll have to forgive me if nobody's watching, so I'm just going to check my emails.
The King of Spain has been held
to
areas devastated by Tuesday's flash floods.
Hopefully everything's working fine.
Dead, many more remain missing.
Hopefully.
There have been protests about the response from authorities.
Oh, okay. I just got an email from myself saying I'm live. That's nice. Thank you for telling me. I didn't realise. Anyway, it's my Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Genealogy guy. Question and answers. In the stream at the top is a link, and you can come in onto the chat and ask a question if you want. You don't have to show your face. You can just come in, ask a question, and we'll see if we can sort it for you. If you're looking for something to try and get your tree going, or you're stuck on your tree, or you've no idea what you're doing with your tree, you're at the right place, because I'll help. I just need to know what you need help on, basically. And I know this is live on YouTube, so you don't want to be putting on anything that's too personal to yourself. But that's fine. Just it helps if somebody came up with a question and I could just show you what I can do to help. So just while I'm on here, I'll just say hello to Kelsey. Good afternoon, darling, and hello, baby. Bit of a late night again last night. What you doing? I had a late night as well. I had my son and my daughter visiting yesterday, so that was nice for me. So there you go. Just going to test something just whilst Kelsey's in the room, and she'll answer me, I think. So let's have a look if it works.
Massive shout out to Kelsey.
If what I've just done worked, she'll know. If you know what I mean. I know what I mean. Nothing happened. It didn't work. Anyway, going back to the tree. I know I can help. All right, it did work. Lovely, thank you. Well, that's tested for tonight anyway, so there you go. I've totally lost the plot now. Totally lost the plot. Yeah, so here I am, genealogy guy, sat here and doing my own family tree and a couple of other people's family tree, and stuck for more things to do. So that's why I'm here, really. If you've got a family tree started and you want help, I'll help. And if you haven't got a family tree started and you want to get into it, I'll help you with that. Show you what to do, where to go, who to see, who to talk to, people to see, people to say hello to. All the... Right, Kelsey, what you need to start with is you need to create your own tree first. And I suggest you create it on ancestry.co.uk. And you can create a tree on there without paying. So don't, if it ever comes up and says, oh, you need to upgrade to this, you don't upgrade to anything. Just create the tree. And once you started to create the tree, it'll ask you first what your name is and your date of birth and, the information it needs for you. And then it'll ask you for your mother's name, your father's name, And if you know your grandfather's name. If you know your grandmother's name. So you just put in the information you require. Then once you've done that first easy peasy lemon squeezy start, what you do then is you go and you share your tree to me. And, you know, once you get there, I can tell you how to share your tree. I can show you in one of the lessons how to share your tree. And you just give me editor rights onto your tree, and I'll go wellying out and start searching and adding to your tree. And depending on what you want me to do with the information I get is what you tell me to do. You know, so I won't just go stupid and adding millions of things in. I'll ask for guidance from the person who owns the tree. So first step, ancestry.co.uk, create an account. You might have to put your card details in, but that'll only be so it can make sure you're a real person. You won't get charged anything. Just don't pay for anything. I've paid for everything, so you don't need to. If you share your tree with me, I'll look after it. Or depending on what you want me to do is what I'll do. If you just want me to find, you know, one relative, I'll give it a go. I'll see if I can pass it on. Just say, can you find this person for me? And test me. That's the thing to do. Test me. See what I can do. See if I can help. Because if I can help, I will help. And I know I can help. That's the thing. I've been doing this 25 years nearly now. So anyway, I've been doing it 25 years, so I've got the experience. So, Bibi, does it have information on the people you put in, or is it all manual? No. When you put information into the tree, if there's somebody in the tree already with those names you've put in, and, you know, the relevant birth dates and things like that, it'll say, well, you've got a match here, you know, or it'll say there's a close match here. But I suggest, if you're just starting off, not to take everything that you read as granted. You know, when it comes up and says, oh, hi, baby, we found your great-great-grandfather, blah, blah, blah. And I've just read that next thing. So, yeah, so you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, what it actually comes up with. Because, you know, not everything you read is going to be kosher, if that's it. I don't know what the right word is. So, Bibi, yes, you may find some secret relatives. You may not. You know, it all depends, doesn't it? You know, I've done let me just think how many. I've done 6 different trees. I'm still doing 6 different trees for 5 other people. And out of those 5, not found anything. No secrets. You know, no secret killers, no secret babies or anything, or, you know, no. I don't know what to say, but no, you may find it, but I wouldn't bank on it. It's not, you know, there isn't many people out in the wild world like me and my family. You know, they're the ones you see on television. Those people, you won't see normal people on TV. Because there's nothing secret, you know, there's nothing to make a story about. So that's why when you see them on the television, on all these programs they do, it's all this, oh, we found this person and your second cousin 5 times removed who's in Germany, you know, all that kind. Well, those are few and far between. So the answer to your question, both your questions, is it'll only have the information on your relatives that you've put in. Okay? Unless you've actually clicked on somebody's suggestion and added it. And then the other, you may find secret relatives. I would say 90% you won't, and 10% you might. But the secret relatives might be a long way in your past, if you see what I mean. That's, you know, those days in the past. So you can on Ancestry, you can create, when you create your tree, it will ask you if you want to have your tree private or public. So of course, if you don't want anybody to see it, you put it as private. If you don't mind people seeing your tree, you put it as public. Now, the thing about the difference between private and public is, on private, nobody can see anything. Okay? On public, they can only see dead people. Okay? So if somebody's marked as deceased in your tree, well, they'll be able to be seen. If they're marked as living, nobody will see them, only you. Or, you know, your family or whoever you've given the rights to. So that's the difference between private and public. You're deciding who can see what. So nobody can see anything on a public tree if the people are alive. So I don't, you know, if you've already done a tree at some point and you've searched the tree and it's come up with somebody who's a fourth cousin, and you look at their tree and not everybody's living, you know, because they don't put them as deceased. Then if they don't put them as deceased, you're not going to see them. So no, nobody can find your family, Bibi, unless they, you know, unless they know the far end of a fart about you, really. And then they can't find you if you mark just, and you're going to mark yourself as alive. So they're not going to find you. They might see your name or whatever in a tree of somebody's, but they won't see any details because you're alive. And when you're alive, nobody can see anything. It's a data protection thing. So even if your tree is public, nobody's going to see any live people on it. They're only going to see dead people. So they're only going to be they're going to be like Bruce Willis in that film. You can see dead people. And that's what you can on a public tree. A private tree you can't see knack all. As far as I'm aware. I might be wrong on that one. But as far as I'm aware, a private tree is private. A public tree is public except private. I forgot what I was just going to say. Is that a good end? Yeah. Anyway, you know what I've got at. So, I've come on here with the sole intention of helping people. Now, in the process of help, you know, as I'm coming to a charge, really, you know, because I have, let me just think, and just give me an idea of how many. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 6 different subscriptions to ancestry sites, and you know they're not cheap. You know, the cheapest is something like £140 a year. You know, now I'm across 6, and of course, if I help somebody on the tree, depending on what kind of help they want, because I'm just in the process of deciding how to set myself up. But if you wanted to ask me a question and get an answer back, and start your tree off for you, basically it's just $1 or £2. That's it, basically. If you want me to do more, well, it's going to be more, but you're not going to be spending £600 or £700 in the year. I'm not on here to make money, quite honestly. I'm past that. I'm not a young man anymore. I'm past it. I don't need to make money. All I want to do is cover the costs of my subscriptions for the year. So, I can save you up, basically, depending on what you want to spend, I can save you up to £600 a year. And again, it depends on what platforms you want to go on and what platforms you want to subscribe to. Now, if you subscribe to My Heritage, that's one you subscribe to, and I know how much that is because they've just sent me a thing to say your subscription is due next month, and that's £184 for 12 months. That's on My Heritage. And Ancestry, I think, is well, if you go on to create an account, you'll see how much it costs. Well, I have a full account on there. So, as Kelsey's just said there, and I'll show it on the screen. As Kelsey says there, yeah, there is a charge, a minimum charge, a minor charge. I don't know what the word is, but it's a minor charge, a couple of quid here and there. And you're paying for the 25 years experience on using all of these tools that there are on the internet and the skill of using them. And of course, there's plenty of other little tools that cost money to buy, and cost money to buy. It sounds stupid, but there is other things that cost. And like I say, all I want to do is cover my costs, and I don't want to make a living at it. I'm retired. I don't want to be making a living. If I wanted to be making a living, I'd be charging you 20 quid an hour. But I'm not going to be charging 20 quid an hour, I've set up, and you'll have to forgive me because I can't remember what they call it now. I've set up a Buy Me a Coffee account because everybody seems to know what Buy Me a Coffee is. And I think on my Buy Me a Coffee, and it isn't quite finished setting up, but I think a minimum payment for a coffee, and I'm just going to have a look at Buy Me a Coffee and see what it is, because I can't remember. And I don't know if I can log in on this machine, but we'll see. Which one? Come on. Wakey. Nah.
You're listening to Classic FM.
I'm not on the right machine to have a look, but it isn't a lot. I think it's £1. To buy me a copy, it's £1. Well, £1's nothing, is it? You can't buy a copy for bloody £1 anyway. And the way to see if it's worth paying me anything is to throw a question that you want answering regarding your ancestry, and see if I can answer it for you. And then you'll see if it's worth the coffee. I'm not saying you have to buy me the coffee, then send me the question. I'm not, just buy me a coffee. Not buy me. Send me a question and I'll get back to you with an answer to your question or your query or somebody you want to find or whatever you want on your tree. Just send me the question. Now, I can't say it's cash on delivery, really, because it isn't cash on delivery. I'm leaving, basically, if you're going just to buy me a coffee, on that one, you're not making yourself a member or anything. You just buy me a coffee for something I've done. Well, basically, it's buy me if you feel I've done okay. If you don't want to pay for a coffee after I've told you the answers, well, fine. I'm not going to be chasing up on it and saying you owe me £1 because I've spent 25 minutes looking up Bob Harris or whatever it is. So, yeah, it's a poultry charge, really. I was talking to my kids yesterday, saying what I was going to do and what I was, how I was going to work it and things like that. And both of them said, "Dad, you're just selling yourself short." And I said, "Well, yeah. If I was back in, I was 40 or 50-ish or whatever, then I'd be looking to make a living out of it. Well, I'm not looking to make a living, so it doesn't make any difference whether I get £10 an hour or £1 an hour. I enjoy what I'm doing. I like what I'm doing, and I know I can help, and I know that nobody will be disappointed with the help I can pass on. So, cash on delivery, if that's a term, it's a term, isn't it? It's not a cash on delivery, it's a copy on delivery. There you go. And I think a copy's £1. I don't know what I've set it at. I think it's £1. But then I'm in the process of creating three brain's gone, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm in the process of creating 3 membership levels, and the membership levels are Roots, Branch, and Tree. So that's 3 memberships. On the first membership, the Roots one, it's just a basic question and answer. You get an hour of my time searching for you, and I don't know what I can't remember the cost. I think it's a £5 a month. I think it's not a lot of money anyway. And then on the Branch, which I think is a tenner a month, but you get a lot more of my time, a couple of hours of my time, maybe 3 hours of my time searching or concentrating on your tree, and then you get an hour Discord chat. Now, I presume everybody knows what Discord is, and it would be a private one-to-one chat on Discord, so that you can see your tree through my chat, and you can ask questions. I can answer the questions. You can point me in the right direction. If I've gone wrong somewhere, you can tell me that I'm a dickhead and I've done something wrong and whatever. So that's the second membership. And then of course the main membership, which is Tree, means I just do your tree. Basically, there's no limits. I just do it until you want to say you've done enough, thank you, I don't want to do it anymore. So you get a lot of time, and you get a couple of hours a week, not a couple of hours. You get an hour a week on a Discord chat again, so that we can be on a one-to-one, talking to each other, discussing what I've found out, you know, seeing if I've got the right people, and if you want me to add these things in, you know, all the private stuff really. So of course the Discord is private. It will be just between me and you. So on the branch, the Discord is an hour a month. On the tree, the Discord is an hour a week. So we can set an hour a week up anytime you want. You know, I'm flexible basically on timings, and there we go. That's the three membership levels on Buy Me a Coffee. So you've got a bog standard Buy Me a Coffee, and I think it's £1. And then you've got the 3 memberships, and as I say, I'm still in the process of getting things up and running. You know, my time isn't infinite. That's a good word, infinite. I don't normally use words like that, really. So, yeah. That's what else? Any other questions you want to throw at me? Or Kelsey's been really good here throwing questions. I love it. Love it when I get questioned by a woman. Ah, oh, get in, fill me boots. Yeah. So there's nothing up front. You don't have to pay up front for me to do anything. Just give me a go. Try it out. You know, just say, well, Paul, do you think you could find my great grandmother? You know, try it out before you make up your mind of what you want to do. Like I say, you don't have to pay me anything. If you don't want to pay, don't pay. Easy as that. Doesn't mean I won't look for the answers for you, because I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to have a slurp of this cold coffee just to see if I can cool myself down, because I'm getting hot flushes, I think. Yeah, I'd put a link on here somewhere if I knew how to. Maybe yes, I'm on at the moment. I've set up Genealogy Guy on Instagram. I've set up Genealogy Guy on Facebook. I've never used TikTok, so I have no idea how to use TikTok. But saying that, I don't really know how to use Instagram and Facebook, because my Facebook, basically my personal Facebook, is only my family. I've not been out in the world, you know. But I have got a genealogy page on Facebook, and I have got a genealogy account on Instagram, and I think I've also set up a genealogy on X. I might be wrong on that one, but I think I have. But I've got the capability on my streaming software to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. So I can stream to my genealogy channel on Facebook. I can stream to my channel on Instagram. No point in doing it to X, because that's not the right platform for it. But of course, before you can start streaming to Facebook, you have to hit certain levels. You know, I think you've got to have an account for at least 3 months, and you know, and my account for Genealogy Guy isn't 3 months old. So yeah, multi-streaming is the thing. I did try to do a multi-stream to to my personal Facebook account, but I set it up and then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because, well, I have my reasons. I didn't want to do it on my personal page. I wanted to do it on the Genealogy Guy page. So I just have to suck it and wait until I've had the account long enough that I can stream to. Now, in a couple of weeks, on a Wednesday night, there's a half-hour podcast, Genealogy podcast, and it'll be every Wednesday night. Not quite sure on the timing, but so there's another way of. So that podcast will be going out to Apple and God knows all those other kind of podcast places. So yeah, it might get people to see. It does need eyes on. You know, it needs people to say, "Yo, I like this, share it." You know what I mean? And you can't. Basically, I'm sat here talking to this screen, and I've got 3 people, 2 people who's talking on the channel. I've got another one sat in the background who's just listening, and that's probably either Rat Boy or the Muppet. But like I say, I can only talk because I'm not interacting with anything. I'm interacting on here because Kelsey's asking some good questions and Bibby's asking some good questions. So I'm interacting with that. And of course, you know, if somebody's sat in the background just looking and they're thinking, well, this is a load of shite. He's not telling us anything. He's not doing anything. You've got like Kelsey says there. I know. So Kelsey says here, I know there's loads of people who want to get started but don't know how. They just need to see you and what you offer. There you go. Well, I'm here every Sunday, and you know I put it on every piece of, I don't know what you call it, every piece of social media that I'm on. I mention it. You know, now, yeah, I might not be seen, but I am being seen by some people. And of course, you need the people who see you to share it and say, oh yeah, I've heard you're looking for this. There you go. Have a look at this guy. Because, you know, I can sit here and waffle for an hour like I do on a Sunday. And really, I'm not doing anything. If you see what I mean, you know, I'm just talking away because I need to show what I can do, and you can't show what you can do easily, because I can only show what I can do by showing my tree and what I've actually done. And you know, it looks impressive. Well, it is impressive. There's 4,500 ancestors in it, so it is impressive. But the point is, I wouldn't, you know, I could show you my tree, but I wouldn't be showing you anything because you're just saying, oh yeah, he's done well on that. So I'm not showing you what I can actually do. So just send a question, put it in a comment below, or what else? Send me an email. My email is in my YouTube account. It's there. Tells you what the email is. Send me an email. Do a WhatsApp. I don't know. You know, whatever. Just get in touch. Say whatever you want to say. Can you pick me up on this? Can you help me on that? And blah blah blah. And maybe look up trending topics on the subject. There isn't many trending topics on the subject, Bibby, because I've looked. And most people on the topics that the genealogy topics that I'm trying to get across, is they're more teaching you how to do things, if you see what I mean. I don't know how to explain it, but they're not giving you any help without you giving them a bucket full of money. That's not the way I'm going. I don't want to make a bucket full of money. So it's all the spondulics, isn't it? You know, they all want money. Well, I don't want the money. I just want, well, I don't know. The kudos, is it? There's a good word, isn't it? Kudos. I just want people to say, look, this guy's helped me. Because that's all I want to do. I want to help. I want to pass on 25 years of knowledge for other people to be able to benefit from my knowledge. Because there you go. And to get people with eyes on my channel is it's difficult, because it's a case of one sharing and then somebody else saying, have you seen this one? And somebody else saying no, you know. So, and you've got to remember, I'm not that au fait with social media, you know. I mean, I didn't, quite honestly, in April, I didn't even know YouTube existed on this kind of a thing back in April. You know, so everything's new. So, you know, doing the software, all those type of things, it's all new to me, basically. April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months? And I do 3 different channels. I don't know. Yes, baby, I know that one, but you've got to find a video that will hit. You know, I do know that, you know, I do know that YouTube, when you put a video up now on YouTube, they don't just hide you there. You're not just hidden. It will go up. As long as you put the right gear into the vid, they'll add it and say for other people to see. But you know, it's I don't know how to explain it. And I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I can. Like I say, I have checked I've searched YouTube for genealogy, family trees, or, you know, anything like that, ancestry and all those kind of things. And they all come back with the same things, the same people, you know. And it's normally, quite honestly, it's normally those across the pond, you know, the Yanks. It's normally them, because they're into it, I think, more than into it a bigger way. So you normally find that genealogy and stuff like that is across the pond. That's why some of your subscription sites are geared more to the Americans. You know, My Heritage is one. My Heritage is got more records regarding America, whereas you've got a site called Find My Past, the one that does the one on television. Find My Past. Now they're more English, you know, they're more UK based or Europe based as well, but you see more records for this side of the pond. So some of your subscription channels, quite honestly, you don't want to. If you was going to do it, you don't want to go that way, because some of them are just basically Americanized. You know, I learned that. I mean, I learned that over the 24 years, 25 years I've been doing it. I've learned which subscription channels I want to be on and where I'm going to find the information, what I'm looking for, where I should be looking. Because if I've got somebody who was born in Essex and I don't want to be searching the American sites, because that's not going to have the records for Essex, if you see what I mean. So that's part of the knowledge of knowing which subscription sites to go for. You know, so if somebody said, Paul, which site do you recommend going to? Well, if you're in the UK, I recommend Ancestry, basically because you can get a free account.
Is Classic FM.
And you can share it with another Ancestry person. So it's not going to cost you knack all, if that makes sense. Go to there is one or two free sites. I mean, you don't have to. There's one that the Mormons do. That's called Family Search. I think it's called Family Search, and they're good on records, because they have quite kind of they're good on records because they have access to lots and lots of records. What they're not good on is the people in the tree, because their tree is more like a Wikipedia page. You know, each person is a Wikipedia page type thing, and those are, which means if it's a Wikipedia type thing, anybody can change the information. It's not set, you know. So you could go searching blah 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 and getting all the information, putting it into this site, and then somebody else from across the pond or Germany or Italy or whatever comes in and changes your record, even though yours was right. They put in the wrong one because they picked the wrong person. If that makes sense. So it's all right for looking at for records and things like that. It's not the best one for using as a tree. You can still use it as a tree, but it's not the best one. Okay, so let's have a look at this question. Another good question. What kind of archives do I have exclusive access to, like registries and the census, etc.? Now, nothing I have access to is exclusive to me, if that makes sense, because, you know, you could get the same access if you went and paid for a year, a yearly account. So you'd get the same access. But what I can, with all the ones I've got, and if you know about if you go on censuses, you know that, or I presume you know that the census is every 10 years. So the first census was in 1841, and it goes on from there. So 51, 61, 71, 81, 91, 1901, you know, so it goes along from there. So I have access to all of those censuses. Now, the last census that's searchable online at the moment is the 1921 census. Okay, there isn't any census after 1921 that is available to be searched. That's because they don't release census data until 100 years after the census was taken. So 1921 was released in 2021. Well, it was 2022, but pandemic knick-knacked it up a bit. And then, of course, the next census after 21 is 1931. Now, that's not going to come out. Nobody's going to be able to search that census until 2032. Okay. So I have up to 1921 censuses, and I also have access to the 1939 register, United Kingdom register. Now, what that is, that's like a census, but it's not actually a census. Because we went to war in 1939, the government needed to know who was living in the country. So they needed to know every living person in this country, where they lived and the date of birth. So there's a 1939 register of everybody, basically. And when I say everybody, well, it might not be everybody, because some people didn't bother, did they? You know, they wanted to be hidden or whatever. But because of rationing, they needed to be on the 1939 register. Now that gives you full names, where their address they're at, when they were born, if they're married, and boom, there you go. So you can get back to 1939, but it doesn't give you a lot of information on that register. The one with the most information is the 1921 census, because it tells you what they were doing, where they worked, if they were being paid, or if they're ill or infirmed, or every question you can think of is on that census. So that's all the censuses I can get into. I can get into all the I can get into the 1939 register, and then you've got births, deaths, marriages. Now I can't list them all, because there's absolutely thousands of different archives of these records. Now, I'm in Hull. My family come from East Yorkshire, and I've looked at all. I can see records for all my family, in church records, government records. What do you call that thing where you electoral roll? All those type of things. So there's absolutely thousands and thousands and thousands of records I can search. So I have access to a lot of stuff, and so I suppose I could go onto Ancestry and have a look and see what they say they've got, but I've got an idea that that My Heritage list over 1 billion records on their site. It might be a little bit out there, but I'm sure I've read somewhere that they've got access to 1 billion records on their site. So there you go. You see the records for Essex, Shropshire, Scotland, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, France, whatever. I wouldn't leave any stone unturned searching for information regarding trees. So, and I also have, I do have some other software that I use to help with, especially the DNA bit. DNA is a little bit difficult to get your head around. I'm still getting my head around my DNA, but it is a little bit difficult to get your head around. Now I've got access to a few DNA sites that help with figuring out who is who and where they come in your tree and all those type of things, because I think on my on my DNA, I originally took my DNA with my heritage, and if I go into my heritage and look, DNA relatives, I've got, I seem to recall that I've got 10,790 DNA, what do you call them, DNA matches. Now, of those 10,000, there's a lot of them who are like eighth cousin. If you see, now there's no point in searching an eighth cousin, because you're going to have to go so far back to find out where you actually come join within the tree that you'd be wasting your time, on matches, and even not necessarily DNA matches. On matches, if you do your tree yourself and you're on the thing and it says you've got a match here, the thing to look at is first cousins, second cousins, and third cousins. You don't want to be going much further than a third cousin, because you're having to go a fair way back in your ancestors to find the person that you match with and they match with, that you share. So first cousin, second cousin, third cousin. Those are the ones. Nephews, nieces, even better if it's a nephew or a niece, or a lot closer. So all these, all these 20,000 or whatever matches I've got in my heritage, not the DNA part, just normal matches. 98% of those are not worth looking at, because they're so far away. The person we match with in their tree would probably be from 1650. And of course, when you're going that far back, it's difficult to find matches for yourself, never mind a match for a DNA relative. But you can. DNA is quite good. It was worth it for me anyway. It helped me and my family. But again, like I've said before, my family's a little bit different than most families. Most families have one mother and one father. So your brother's mother is your mother, your brother's father is your father. You know what I mean? Whereas on mine, I've got 7 siblings and 6 fathers in those siblings. So none of our fathers match each other. So it's a bloody nightmare. But I've still managed, it might be a nightmare, but I've still managed to through DNA to trace my paternal lineage. So I haven't found my father, but I've found my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and going back. I just can't find a first cousin, a nephew, a niece, or even a brother or sister that I don't know about on the DNA side. If one of them pops up, boom, it'll answer my question of who am I? But there you go. I don't ask the question anymore. I've got to the point where I know my father was Danish, and I don't really need to know his name because he ain't going to be bloody alive. So it's pointless, isn't it? I don't need to know his name. I just need to know that he was Danish, basically, and trace back from there, which I have done. So I've got a fairly steady paternal line now, and it's all come from DNA. So anyway, so you know, you don't have to do a DNA test. I'm not saying you do. You don't have to do a DNA test, but it's nice if you can do one, because it helps. And it's even nicer if you can do one and you've got a parent or even a sibling who will take one as well. Because the more information you have, the easier it is to find things. So there you go. Hopefully I've answered all Kelsey's questions. And Kelsey, I love you for asking all the questions. You're great. And so just remember, folks, comment below, because I read the comments. Comment below. If you haven't like, subscribe, ring the bell. You'll get the thing, and share. You know, tell people that Genealogy guys sat out here waiting for people to come and see him. You know, and I might start reading your cards. Be a bit like my mother. But anyway, so I'm going to break up because I've got another hour to do a bit later on another channel I look after. So it's TTFM. Live long and prosper, and take care. And I'll be here again next Sunday at the same time, 4 o'clock, talking to myself or one or two people who are in the queue. Okay. TTFM, bye-bye. Love you lots. Sounds awful, I love you.